What's up, my wizards? It's Dev. From Mtg, we like magic, and Happy New Year's Eve to you. Or if you're watching this after New Year's Eve, I hope your 2018 is going well so far. I got a New Year's gift for you in the form of 4 early, just a day early, Rivals of Ixalan spoilers, and 3 of them have the word dinosaur printed on them somewhere, so you know it's going to be a fun day. So let's go ahead and crack this pack open and check these cards out. Well, don't look now, but the first thing we're going to look at today is the Merfolk. That's right, Merfolk, guys. We know that Merfolk needs a lot of help. In Rivals of Ixalan, it's going to be a real tribe. So, let's look at this first thing. River Darter. It's 3 mana, 2 and a blue for a 2/3 Merfolk. Oh boy, what's it going to be? River Darter can't be blocked by dinosaurs. So this is not what Merfolk needs to be competitive. Obviously, this is probably at least a halfway decent limited card, sort of. Like 3 mana 2/3s are already just okay in limited. They're like 23rd card status, but I guess not being able to be blocked by dinosaurs, like, that's a decent sideboard piece. I don't know, man. I can't find a bunch of great stuff to say about it. Hopefully we will actually see some good Merfolk in this set. So far, this is not super exciting. So let's move on to the next. Second card today is Axion Censor. This is 3 mana, 1 a green and a white for a 2/3 human druid. With tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Okay, it's alright. And you can sacrifice it to return target dinosaur card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so this is better than the first card. Definitely say that. I like that when you draw it early, it's mana ramp of any color. That's pretty sweet. So if you're trying to build Naya Dinosaurs, fixes your mana for you kind of well. And if you draw it late, then you can just basically sacrifice it and get whatever dinosaur you want back that they've killed. You know, Regisaur Alpha, they actually managed to kill a Ripjaw Raptor. You know, you can basically trade this if you top deck it late for one of those out of your yard. So it's pretty good at more or less any point of the game. That seems okay, but I'm still not sure that this will end up seeing standard play. Now, the dinosaur deck is a little bit thin at 3-drop already. It needs a good 3-drop, but I don't think this is it. Right now, you've already got Deathgorge Scavenger and Kinjali Sunwing in this color combination. I just think I'd probably rather play both of those than this card. You know, I don't think that I still want to be setting up on turn 3 in the dinosaurs deck. You know, I just don't think ramp is where you want to be. On turn 3, at least. You know, if ramp is where you want to be, I think that Ranging Raptors is probably a better card than this, all things considered. Although I do like that it's got late game value, and Dinosaurs needs a little bit of that. You know, it's got to be able to do something after turn 5, but I still don't think that this is quite at the level it needs to be at to actually, you know, make the Dinosaurs deck good, let alone actually get a slot in it. I'm just not sure that it's quite that prime. Hey guys, editing Dev here. I don't usually break in like this, but my opinion on this card is shifting just a little bit as time goes on. I still ultimately don't think that it's probably going to be standard playable, but I do think ultimately that it's probably better than Ranging Raptors. I said that it wasn't, but this ramps you more consistently than Ranging Raptors does, and it's got the same stats. I guess Raptors is more splashable, but this ramps more reliably and does something else that Ranging Raptors doesn't even do. So it's probably better than Raptors. If you're in green and white. You know, if you're just green-red, I wouldn't add white just to play this card. But the ability to block and sack for a dinosaur out of the graveyard's good. And there's a neat trick that you can do with it that I'm only just now realizing, where you can tap it for any color mana and then sack it for a dinosaur out of your yard, and you'll essentially have an extra mana to play whatever dinosaur you got out of your yard, because that mana that it created is still in your pool. So there's some neat stuff you can do with this, but I don't know that my opinion at large has changed. I still don't think this is quite good enough for standard play, but it's a little bit better than I originally assessed it at. So I did want to at least break in here and say a couple of things positive about the card. So let's check out the third thing, which is just a dinosaur. The other cards just had the word dinosaur on them. This is an actual dinosaur, Thrashing Brontodon. It's 3 mana, 1 and 2 green for a 3/4 dino with 1 sacrifice Thrashing Brontodon, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Alright, so this I really like as a sideboard piece for the dinosaur deck, actually. You know, it's on a stick, it's a disenchant, and it basically, I mean, it passes a vanilla test. You know, 3 mana for a 3/4, it's kind of a heck of a deal. You know, I don't mind 3 mana 3/3s. So 3 mana 3/4, yes. You know, it's impervious to Abrade, Lightning Strike, and stuff. That's a really good bonus. So I like this card actually more than the other 2 cards that we've seen today. And it might be actually, as far as standard play, maybe my favorite card of the day. But people who have already taken a peek at the spoilers know what the last card is and probably contend that statement. But still, I like this card a lot. I think that it's probably going to see, you know, 1 or 2 sideboard play in the Dinosaurs deck, if the Dinosaurs deck is actually standard playable this time around. So, big fan of the card. I think that it's fine. It might not even be, in some builds, a sideboard card. You know, 3 mana, 3/4 is pretty decent by itself. You draw this and you don't have something to kill with it, it's entirely fine. But if you do have a cast out or an anointed procession that you can bust with it, all the better. So, you know, and this kills like Godfarer's Gift and stuff. Like, there's definitely a lot of upside to playing this card. So I like it a lot. I think it will probably end up seeing some amount of sparing sideboard play. But believe it or not, we're actually on the last card of the day already, but it's a really big one, and one that people are already hype over from what I've seen in the limited time I've had to look at the reaction to the card since it was spoiled. So it's a big one. Let's go ahead and take a look at Angrath right here. Angrath, the Flame Chain, to be exact. It's 5 mana, 3 a black and a red for a 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker with his name. It's always so awkward. But anyway, you can +1 him to have each opponent discard a card and lose 2 life. You can -3 him to gain control of target creature until end of turn and untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step if it has converted mana cost 3 or less. You can also -8 him, his ultimate, to have each opponent lose life equal to the number of cards in his or her graveyard. Alright, so, again, a lot of hype so far from what I can tell. You know, I've had limited access to reactions to this card so far. Mostly comments on Mythic Spoiler and other, like, spoiler sites, but so far, a lot of people super happy about this. Don't mean to burst anybody's bubbles, though. I've got likes and dislikes. First of all, looks really good in Commander, right? That each opponent claws and everybody loses too. That's kind of awesome. And on the Commander table, you'll always have something to -3 and kill at the end of the turn. That's all seems really, really good. And finally, the ultimate in a game of EDH seems sweet as well. You know, you just blow a couple of people out if you can get to the ultimate. But as far as competitive play, that's part of the problem with the card. I've got basic, like, meta problems with this card, and I'll get to that in a second. But as far as just the overall issues with it, first of all, the -3. That'll put him at 1. You know, you just paid 5 you just paid 5 mana to have basically a 1 loyalty planeswalker and a hijack ability that kills the creature at the end of the turn. That is just barely worth it, I think. And, I mean, you leave your planeswalker very vulnerable, but you just killed a guy, so that's, in a way, that's protection, you know. I like certain things about it, but I don't know if that -3 is worth 5 mana the turn that you use it. If you can get 2 -3s out of it, I think you're having a great time. But just the first turn you play it, if that's all you do with it, I'm not sure that 5 mana at sorcery speed is good enough for that effect. As far as the ultimate goes, it takes like 4 turns to get to his stupid ultimate, you know, and it's only good against certain decks in Standard. You know, it seems decent against like Godfarer's Gift and control decks, but there are problems with that. Godfarer's Gift could easily kill you by the time you get to its ultimate, and it can just like fly over and eat your Angrath alive to where you'll never get to the ultimate, you know. So there's a problem against that deck, which it should be good against. And against control, the ultimate looks pretty good, and the first ability, the +1, looks really good against control, but you have to resolve a planeswalker on turn 5 at the earliest, and that's very hard to do against control decks. So I'm just not sure that it meets its intended purpose against control either. As far as like the meta call of this card in Standard right now, obviously the biggest decks are Ramunap Red and Energy. I'm not sure this is great against Ramunap Red. The +1 is almost useless against that deck. They will have no cards in hand by the time you play this. Even if you play it on the play, they're very likely to not have any cards in hand. And even if you make them discard their last card, all you did was turn on their Hazoret for them. So, you know, they take 2 damage, or lose 2 life. But big deal in the scheme of things to them. Ramunap Red's a deck that doesn't mind losing life. The -3 seems fine against Ram Red, yes, because it's essentially removal. You get to turn the tables on them for a turn, all that. It seems fine. But at the same time, again, you just left yourself with a 1 loyalty planeswalker that's going to get eaten up as soon as you say go. So I'm not sure about Ram Red at all, and you'll never get to the ultimate against that deck. As far as Energy, which is the de facto best deck in the format, it kind of has all kinds of problems. It seems okay at first, because you might be able to make them discard a card. It's kind of good. But on turn 5, I don't think discarding a card is good enough against Energy. Even though it does leave you with a 5 loyalty planeswalker, I just think there's more impactful plays against Energy on turn 5. As far as the -3 goes against Energy, seems pretty decent. You know, pick up a Whirl of Virtuoso, Long Tusk Cub, Rogue Refiner, and kill it at the end of the turn. You can, technically, you could pick up a Long Tusk Cub that already has like a bunch of counters on it, you know, 5/5 Long Tusk Cub, and then attack with it, kill it at the end of the turn. All that seems hunky-dory, like super good and all, but again, problem is, if you do it the turn it comes into play, you're leaving yourself with a 1 loyalty planeswalker that a Glorybringer can kill, or a Thopter made from a Whirl of Virtuoso can just fly over and ding for the last, 1 loyalty of damage. And a lot of those energy decks pack the Scarab God, and at that point, yeah, you killed their Whirl of Virtuoso, but they're more than happy to bring it back as a 4/4 and start making Thopters again. I just don't know how good this card is in the current meta, is all I'm saying, because the rest of the meta is mostly made up of, like, control decks and stuff, like Approach of the Second Sun, and the card has to resolve to be good in any way against them, and the -3 is more or less useless in that matchup. I'm just not sure that in the current standard meta this card is great, especially at 5 mana. But, it's a great EDH Planeswalker from what I can tell, and it's good that we have, like, a really good red-black Planeswalker. We don't have a whole lot of those in Magic history. Like, Tybalt, the really good clause doesn't apply to Tybalt. But this seems like a decent red-black Planeswalker especially for EDH and more casual formats. It's never going to make it in Modern, Legacy, Vintage, any of that. If it sees standard play, it'll be in a control shell, black-red control, Grixis control or something. But even then, how much does a Grixis control deck want to play a 5-mana sorcery speed Planeswalker? I'm not sure. Maybe a Grixis mid-range, who knows? I mean, this card definitely could find a home, but at 5 mana in the current meta, I'm just not sure it's exactly where you want to be. And that's all the spoilers for today so far, at least. They may try to sneak a couple of more in, but I'll definitely be back at you tomorrow. That is the day that spoilers are supposed to officially start, is on January 1st. So I'll be back at you definitely with another video tomorrow at the latest, And then my exclusive spoiler is going to be on January 4th. That's a Thursday, if I'm doing the math right. So, make sure you stick around for that. And subscribe if you're new to make sure that you get that. Hit the bell for the notifications. Do all that. Because it's officially spoiler season starting really today. Supposed to be tomorrow. So lots of important stuff coming out in just the next week here. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, get all that stuff. Like this video if you like the video. Follow me on Twitter at SBMTGDev, and throw me $1 if you really want to on patreon.com/SBMTG. You can also check out my sponsor, TCG Player. They help bring you content via me. They're really nice guys for doing that. I'll leave you a link in the description so you can check them out and get booster boxes of Rivals of Ixalan at just $92 on pre-order. That's a super keen discount. So check them out if you want to, and I'm pretty sure I'm tapped out for now, fellas. So I will catch you cats later. I'm Dev from The Place. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for watching, my wizards. Spread love. Be kind.